Police watchdog IPID is concerned about the high number of suspects dying at the hands of the police. In recent weeks, at least 19 people were shot and killed in KwaZulu-Natal in 7 separate incidents, we understand. But they were all suspected of being wanted criminals. The police minister has spoken quite bluntly to the men and women in blue, saying they should defend themselves when confronted with a dangerous situation. Let's talk more about this with IPID's acting spokesperson, Mr. Robbie Raburabu, joins me in studio. And thank you so much for your time, sir. Very warm good morning to you.
Good morning.
How concerned are you by the number of alleged criminals that are seemingly dying at the hands of the police?
The IPID is very concerned about that, taking into account that there has been a number of deaths that has been happening in KZN over a number of past month, and which is why we need to actually investigate this matter and get to the bottom of what exactly is the problem with it.
But it seems you're conceding, though, that the pattern, in as far as the statements are concerned, coming from the SAPS, is that they are met with, just harsh, brazen retaliation from criminals. The criminals shoot at them, and they say they have absolutely no choice but to defend themselves.
Look, this is what is being said, that obviously criminals are criminals. They would do anything to actually counter what the police are actually trying to do. We are not against what the police are doing. We agree with what the police are doing to try and actually curb crime in the province. At the same time, there is also an outcry from members of the community to say, but why is it that these people are being killed instead of being arrested? Are you guys, as IPID, approving these people to kill our people instead of arresting them?
You're right.
Yeah.
In an ideal situation, what should be the action of the police, especially in a situation where criminals are shooting at them, obviously with the intention to harm the police? And already that's, that's crime. That should not be the case when you see a badge of a member of an SAPS, that you take out a gun, aim at them and shoot them. But ideally, how should they then respond, do you think?
Look, I think it depends on the situation that the police officer finds himself in. Because obviously, if someone is actually shooting at you, you obviously have to return the fire yourself. But all we are saying is that we must do that with responsibility, because it shouldn't be an issue. This one is a criminal, and then we are going to shoot him. We hope that is not what is happening.
How far are investigations in as far as you trying to gather the merits of each incident? I mean, there are many, I'm sure, to count. I mentioned one just in KwaZulu-Natal. We know of separate ones in the Limpopo province as well, in parts of Venda. I'm sure you are investigating these cases nationally. But what's the status of your investigations thus far?
Yeah, we are still very far from actually finalizing the investigation, but as soon as we do, those outcome will be made known to the public.
Yeah, and what also are the consequences, I mean, for the SAPS, should they be found guilty of any misconduct?
That's up to the court to decide. Yeah.
All right. Let's also talk about, of course, when we talk about the history of the past, I've been reading in articles whereby you're saying these investigations are important because we know that the history of South Africa, there have been atrocities that have been conducted by members of the SAPS against the people of South Africa. I'm sure this, of course, being part of the reason why these investigations are important to you.
Remember, these are different times than the previous one. Those atrocities happened before the new government. We have a new government which we hope that it's not going to be doing the same things that those other police officers did at the time.
Also, Fani Masemola Begi coming out saying that members of the SAPS have every right to defend themselves. I mean, we've even heard in a Pop Crew Summit yesterday, we've heard numerous times the minister addressing members of the SAPS saying that they have one life, they need to protect that life. Otherwise, he would be burying them, as they have buried some members of the SAPS in the past. What are your statements or your response to those statements by both Fani Masemola, the police commissioner, and Begi Cele, saying that SAPS members have to do whatever it takes to defend themselves?
IPID agrees with the statement of both the minister and the national commissioner, because obviously there's no one, I mean, really, the criminals cannot be given a leeway to do as they wish in the country, because the police have got a responsibility to make sure that the citizens of this country are protected. So, but unfortunately, people have to understand that we, as a department, we also have to look at as to whether the police actions are actually within the law when they do that.
Have you found in previous cases there might be reason to believe that the behavior and the conduct of SAPS may be untoward? Have you had cases in the past where you've seen that SAPS members were not acting within the jurisdiction?
One or two cases, yes, there has been those cases. When they say people have been shooting at them, you find that that was not actually the case.
Right.
Yes.
Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you so much, Robbie, for joining us right here on Newslink, talking to us more about exactly the investigations which they'll be ongoing. Saying there's a growing concern with regards to, of course, the number of criminals that seemingly die at the hands of SAPS. So they will conduct the investigations and then they will leave it to the courts to decide the fate of those that may be found guilty of any misconduct.